Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, Forest Village. We're picking up from where we last left off in the previous episode, and the game itself's in exactly the same state. We're still in the getting towards the end of getting this house over here built, but I have made some significant changes. For one thing, I've tweaked the mods. I've brought the storage management mod back. I have taken out Smarter Farmers and I've reintroduced Farming Overhaul. Now, the reason I've done that is because I've got a completely different computer now. The only thing that's left is the original case. Everything else has been completely stripped out, new parts being put in, and I've actually run and tested this for running over a period of about a year, and it's been working fine. I think there was the odd hiccup every now and again that I've seen before where the game kind of slows a bit and then suddenly recovers, but that's very rare. It's been running at times 10 speeds, not a problem really, so I'm really pleased. So it could be a combination of the fact that the computer's completely new, higher spec. It could also be because of the fact that the game itself is completely fresh. It was originally it was installed and then there'd been various updates that developers released, whereas in this case it's a completely fresh install based on exactly where the developers finished. So it's one of the two things. Could be both, could be either or, but in any case the game is running a lot better for me, and that's really what I'm appreciating more than anything. Now, because I've changed the mods, I'm going to go around these fields. I'm going to drop the number of farmers, because with this mod here I don't have to change the number of farmers. I mean, oddly enough, although the actual mod's been removed, I've still got this ability to increase the number of people in the fields, which is above the actual size of what the field would have allowed in the first place. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it's actually good for the coops, speaking of which, I need to increase that. I don't think I've actually got enough people in the coop over here, to be honest, because when I ran this for about a year, we were running out of eggs, so I think I'll have to rebuild one. Build a new one over here to move the chickens across, and then build a size 4, because down here we had 2 size 2s, and then they were producing too much eggs, so I thought, well, I'll just go for a size 3, but the trouble is that with that Smarter Farmers mod, it was difficult to gauge the size. Now, because that mod's gone, it is working properly. So if I build a field, for instance, I can just look at the number of workers at the bottom, and it's actually back to what it used to do. It literally tells you the maximum number of people that can work in that field, whereas before it was a bit skewed because you could increase the number of people that you could allocate to a field. But anyway, now that that's been changed, I mean, the next thing I want to focus on really is I've got to get these weavers out of here and up to here, and that'll free up space for the actual the barns to go in. It'll help with the people that are living around here, because I know it seems to be messing up things. I mean, I did build that extra house, but I'm finding people aren't living next to where they should be. I'm pretty sure around here there was a teacher or somebody at some point, which is a bit crazy. We shouldn't have had a teacher up here. They seem to have moved, but at some point I did end up having a teacher living up here for some strange reason. But we've got that house there to finish off, so the builders can focus on that. So I think what I want to do is I want to get the fields, the barn and the tavern over here built. Now that's going to be a delivery job first, so I want to get the builders to focus on the work down here, because this place down here, it's been left to basically rot because I didn't have enough food. So it's meant that because no one was living here, there's a lot of these buildings have actually been destroyed. They've had lightning strikes, so I'm going to have to get them all deconstructed and then completely rebuilt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with those. They've all got deconstruct orders. I'm not telling a lie, no they don't. They don't have actually deconstruct orders on them. They're just in a sort of a destroyed state, which is a bit bizarre. We'll play that. So it just says it's buildings being destroyed. It doesn't like automatically arrange for them to be deconstructed. So that's 16 people. So we'll get them to focus on that for now. Now they'll be producing their own oats, but well, we're getting oats delivered up here, but I want these to have their own oats, their own grain, I think. Depends, to be honest, because they might have enough down here, but tell you what, we'll just go with the tavern for now. Because one thing I've got, which is dead useful now, is I can filter these all out. So I can say, I don't want anything in here other than grain and flour, which is exactly what I want. So that'll be a lot more efficient. So that barn there, I don't want grain and flour in that barn, and I don't want it in that barn either. So then what will happen is when we get this field up and running, they'll only be able to put their grain into here. Then the windmills, when they're doing their work, they'll only be able to put their flour in here, which is exactly what I want, because I want the caravans to pick up the flour from here and bring it over to here. I don't have the risk of anybody, you know, dumping tons of grain into these barns, for instance, and filling them up. Because I mean, we end up with like tons and tons of grain and flour, I notice. That's why I'm going to do these windmills, for instance, one at a time. Why I've only got one field, because it just ends up filling the barns up. But now I've got that mod back, it should make my life a bit easier. Oh, I don't know why it does that. For some strange reason, I'll put an order in, go back, and then there's other things suddenly pop up again. Right, that's definitely clear. Right, what about that one? Yep, so we're not putting anything in there. Right, they're okay then. Now, I'll probably have to go around all the other barns again and fix those, because that's something I must admit I didn't do that. I only checked these ones, so we'll see how things play out over the year once I've got all of these barns filtered out as well. But really, we want to get our buildings down here destroyed so we can get started with a rebuild, and we want to get our tavern up and running. So I'll get on with that. Once we're ready, I'll bring you back. Well, we're into the spring of the next year, and our tavern's up and running. House here is now built. It's been upgraded, so it's up to 12 people. Now, I didn't change the accommodation size as in any other house or hostel, so it's a case of the population should start to go up, and it'll take us back above 300. And there was one slight change I made, and that was to the caravanners, because I noticed these houses were getting cold through the winter. So what I've been doing is I've added an extra job in for these people to grab any firewood they find down here and bring it up to here. But one thing I've actually noticed, which I hadn't noticed before, but these two houses look the same. They're both, they're both upgraded. They both can handle up to 12 people. Now this one, on the other hand, that can handle up to 12 people as well if I wanted to. But oddly enough, it looks a lot bigger. The only difference is it's facing in the opposite direction. These ones have, they open up onto this side of the road. This one opens onto this side of the road. And the one thing I've noticed as well is that with these houses, they sort of like the overlap where they've had the upgrade done is on the opposite side of the door, whereas for this one it's on the same side as the door. But that's weird, that, because it's actually taller, and I've never noticed that before. But the odd thing is, I mean, it seems that the direction they're facing doesn't matter, because that one there is the same. That one there is the same as that one. So I don't know what's going on there. It's very odd. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. The plan now is I better fill those little gaps in there. I mean, I'll be putting stone roads in here anyway, but we want to start work with our weaver shop. So I want a road. The idea is I want these weaver shops facing a sort of like a central barn. So I'll flip them around. I don't know if that's over the edge or... I'll put it there. So we'll put that there. We'll run a road down to there. And I'll put... Well, actually, what I'll do is I'll put a bit of space, because the idea is I want a centralised barn. I'm going to put a well on that place there. I mean, they don't actually need a well, but what I'm thinking is more for like fires. If any fires do break out, I'd want to be able to contain it. So put that there. Actually, I haven't said that. I'm really starting to get to like the actual lights, to be honest, because I haven't really noticed it as much, but they really shine up. You get the much, you know, they're very bright. They really stand out like when it's dark. But I clearly haven't been putting enough lights in, because there's very dark areas around on this place. So I'm going to put a street light first, and then I'll put the well behind it. Yeah, I think that'll look a bit better. Now the barn, I want a castle barn. I'm just trying to see, that's... doesn't quite line up for some strange reason. It's like it's not... because I'm lining up, if I put it there... I could do, I mean, I could make it slightly narrower, because I've got I've got like three little blocks for the barn on either side, so that's kind of centralised there. That's better. So just pause that one off. I'm going to run a road up the side here, just to give me a marker. Take that one out for now. Then I want another weaver's shop up here. We'll have one there. We'll do the same for them. We'll give them a light in the middle, and we'll put the well behind it. So we'll get one of these up and running. It's just to control, like, I mean, the number of people. There's only so many people can provide all of the actual resources to the building site, so I'll just do it one at a time. Now then, I need to think through the actual fields and the pastures, because this is a bit weird. It's not working out quite as I thought. So if I go with... start with a sheep farm. Start with one there. Actually, what I want to do is I want to put a sort of like a... I want to mark a point in here. Start there. That's 13, so that's about the middle there. So if I build a sheep farm or pasture, so that goes slightly too far. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of overkill. If I make it about 18 by 26 will do. So I'll just take that road out first. Because the good thing is, because I'm not building anything on the left afterwards, I can always just take it back down and build that thing again if it's not producing enough wool. But I won't know for a while, because we've got tons of spare wool, to be honest. Right, so I want that about 18 by 26, I think it was. So that's enough for 3 people. I'll just flip it around, so that way, by having the hut in the top right corner, the exit point's going to be right up on the road there, which is closer to the barn than if I move it down there. Well, I haven't said that, the barn... that probably makes more sense, I think, because the barn... oh, 6 and 2 3s, I think. Right, so next thing we want is our road up here. So it's not in the centre, but it'll do. Now I was going to put the field in, but then I remembered I need scarecrows. So now the fields, there's definitely is something with the fields going on. I thought I was getting the right size, but because I'm sure when I built these fields down here, they were sized for 4 farmers. Now if I size that field up there, it's a bit harder to tell because we don't have the actual fences, but that's 25 by 17 and it's telling me we can have up to 9 farmers, so there's definitely something going on here, which has got me a bit puzzled. But what I'll do is I'm just going to place that down there as a marker point. Then I can put the field in, because this will be for the... now that's a thought. I need a field for the farmers as well, for the pig. Sorry, these sheep. Ooh, sheep! What a sheep! Sheep. I think sheep have oats. We'll have to find out. I just can't remember. That was 25 by 17, I believe. If I make it 16. So that'll be 27 by 16 seems better, because then I can keep my roads in sync. I mean, the good thing is I can always tear these down and start again. It's not that big a deal. So if I build it that way, so that's 26 by 16, so we build it there. So the scarecrows, we need 2 of them. So I want probably about in the middle. I think it's facing in the right direction. Now it's interesting this, but I noticed just a short while ago, while I was like doing some testing, this little scarecrow kept changing, and it's not doing it now for some strange reason. I mean, at the moment it looks like a little pumpkin. You know, you've got like a little pumpkin head. And yet at one point it was actually changing. It was actually giving me something with something that looked completely different. It had like a little sun hat on it. I don't know whether it was to do with the angle that I was placing it or something, but it was very strange. It's not doing it now. But I'd never noticed that before, so yeah. Yeah, it's not doing that anymore for some strange reason. But anyway, we'll place that one there. Oh, there you go. See there how it's got a different like hat. Yeah, it looks completely different now. I've never noticed that before, and that's really strange. That. Yeah, so plunk that one down there. We don't need that one. Right, so that's a bit of a dilemma now, because I need to produce oats for the sheep. I mean, I could place it on this side down here. Although having said that, again, we're back to importing. As long as we produce enough oats down here, I could bring them into here, because that's what I'm already doing for the chickens. So I'll tell you what, pause these all off, and then that way I'll just focus on them one building at a time. Now they need actually we need some water here. Don't think it really matters, to be honest. Oh yes, it does to me. Right, I'm going to take that one back out. What I want to do is I want to put some lights in again. As I say, I'm really liking these little lights. They look really cool. So I'll place that one facing that side of the road. And then we want our well back again. Yeah, there is no middle. There is no official middle. Unless you make it a small one like that, I suppose, but Right, so we'll pause all these ones off. So there's 3 people working on them, so pause these ones all off. So then they can get started working over here. We'll have to get the barn up and running as well, because we'll have to bring the oats in before we can build the actual, get the sheep going. Now there is one other thing, and that is we've got rabies down here, which is a big problem. The nearest healer's shop. Did I bring that one back? Oh, I didn't. Yeah, this is the nearest healer's shop there, and it reaches down to here. But we had a healer's shop down here, and that was used to look after this whole area, including this hostel right up here. Now that's gone. I better put the house back in, because that needs to get built at some point. Just pause that off. Now, if memory serves, the healer's shop used to be here, or somewhere thereabouts. If I put that there, though, there's a slight problem. I mean, it reaches all the way out to the sea. It's covering this hostel here, but I think this lot was built long before we got, you know, all this lot done. And the trouble is, it doesn't quite touch that hostel over there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the road out. I'm going to take that away, and I'm going to build a hostel up here instead. Not a hostel, a healer's shop. Now, where's the nearest well? Oh, we can put it in a corner, it doesn't matter. I'll put it on the corner by the side of the road. So is that facing the right way? Yes, it is. So I'll leave a bit of a gap, because it's important we get that up and running. Because otherwise, I'm pretty sure if you've got rabies, you starve to death if you don't get treated. So I'm going to open up that house down there, because that'll help the builders when they come down here. So that, just to double check, it's still covering this whole area here. Covers the hostel. Yeah, it is a hostel. It's covering the hostel over here. Are you covering up here though? Yeah, so it's covering that hostel there. So that healer's shop safely covers that one. And that one's going to get covered once we get this healer's shop up and running. So, I'm going to leave them to it. We'll get all of these buildings built. And then we can get to the point where we can start getting the oats transported into this barn. And then we can start getting everybody out of here. So, once we're ready to get everybody moved, I'll bring you back. Well, we've got most of this now built. Except I realised, slight problem, the sheep actually, they'll eat hay. I should pay more attention to these descriptions, because it makes it blatantly obvious really if you pay attention to them. But yeah, if you want to build like a sheep pasture, it says they'll produce meat and wool and they'll eat hay during the winter. So it's like, yeah. So what I've got them doing is I've got them building a warehouse down here. So then we'll transport hay from down here up to here, just to make things easier for them. Now, another slight flaw in my plan there was that I didn't actually make anywhere for these people to live. So I'm going to have one house over here and one house over here. That's enough, I'd say, to cover all of this lot. See, having the two. I'm starting to shift away from the idea of hostels just because of the big boost you get to production. So all this lot here is pretty much ready. I just need to get them started with one of the houses next. Now down here we've got our hostel now built, but there's still some bits that need clearing out. So there's all of these kilns need taking out. They all need rebuilding because they were all destroyed, unfortunately. So I'll give the builders something else to do. We'll take that house there out. And I think what I'll do is I'll place the house down there next time. Just so it's closer to this side, because we've got people who'll be working over here. I've got fishermen all the way even out here. Speaking of which, we need to get rid of them as well. Right, so they just need somebody to come down and demolish those. Everything else I think is... Oh, that was it. I need to build another sawmill, because the... or a lumberjack's lodge, I should say. It'll become a sawmill once it's upgraded. So put that one there. So yeah, so all the rest seem to be intact. Yeah, so that's fine. So we've got plenty of iron ore down here. I was surprised actually there's a lot of meat down here. That's a lot of meat. I don't know if it's the well, there's a hunter out here. I suppose they might every so often come down here, but that is a lot of meat to be storing, because their nearest barn's going to be right up here. So it is possible they might be going up down there. They might be the ones putting all that meat there. But anyway, now I've got this lot back on track. I'll get building that. Once we're done, I'll bring you back. Well, spring has sprung, and we've got a house up and running now. I'm not quite sure who's actually jumped into here. Yeah, the clay mine that we've got actually finished. Interesting enough, everybody's piled up here because I was doing quite a lot of clearing of the trees up here to get more wood so we could build this and then upgrade it. So we did lose quite a few people to like hypothermia over the winter, but it's just par for the course. But we're now ready to get on with this here. So there's no great rush to get these two actually operational. So I've actually paused the sheep farm off. So it just needs a bit more work and then it'll be ready. The field's paused off as well at the moment, but what I want to do is I want to move everybody out of here and over to there. So we're going to pause these two fields here. So those two farmers will jump over to here. There are three weavers working up here. So we'll unpause these ones and pause these three off. Now I've just realised all of their goods are actually down here, so I'm going to have to get somebody to move all of this lot, because here we've got quite a bit of flax, wool and all of the hide, so I'm going to have to get I'll get this one here. They can pick up the hide and bring that all over to here. So you've got 3 roots, so you can pick up the flax in that case. We'll bring that up to here. And then this one, we'll get this one to pick up the wool. Now I'll have to be careful because at the moment I've got quite a lot of goods getting brought into this this barn at the minute, so I can't deconstruct it. I know there'll be routes in there for exchanging things like firewood and all sorts, so I can't just suddenly deconstruct that thing anyway. So yeah, that can stay there for a while, but if we just play this out and see, everybody should start moving around, hopefully. So there's some farmers up here, interestingly enough. We've got 1, 2... All 3 of the Tailors have moved here. One of the caravanners, so that'll be that one there. But the idea is there should be then, once we've got everything moved across, we should then start to get plenty of resources into that barn. So I think what I'll do is we've got quite a few spare people. So I thought, why not? We'll get 4 people working over there. And then what I'll do is I'll get them working on here, but I don't quite need it yet. But that'll be the next thing to do over here. Now, along here, we need to start replacing all the buildings we've lost. So I need to start putting in some fish lodges. That goes right on the edge. There. So you want one here as well. If I can see, that is. Yeah, so it lines up just slightly left of the road. So that gives us 3 fishing lodges to get rebuilt. That's ready to get built, so then there's the 4 kilners that we'll need down here as well. So that's these things here, so I don't think it really matters which way around I place these, to be honest. They seem to move around quite a bit, I've noticed. When they're working, they don't just like go to like one side and just work there. They seem to move around that little building quite a lot. So that would get us those 4 buildings up. And that reminds me, I need to find something. Oh, so I need to find somewhere to build another clay mine. Ideally, if I can build it up here, it'll be better because it's in the same area. So what is that? Oh, that's on pause. Yeah, because that's the clay mine at the moment. So can we find a clay mine? That's that one there. Looks like there's something down there we might be able to do. Ooh. Now where's the... Oh, there isn't a road, so that's alright. Yes, it doesn't really matter. I mean... Ooh, wow. 8,011. Ooh, that would be good. Oh, where's it gone? There. Right, that'll do me. Now, which way around is it? If I can... I don't think it... I mean, technically it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Now I've just got to find that sweet spot of 8,011 again. Oh, there you go. Right, so they can get on building that as well. While we get them to deconstruct that one, because they were originally living there. So while that's so, we need, well, I'll put about 8 people in there. I'll leave myself a bit of wiggle room for the labourers. The population now, it's going to jump up to 318, which is good. This is what I was on about the lights. Honestly, I never noticed this before. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've been running it for so long with like low graphics settings, but it's like looking at it from space. You see all these like places all lit up like a Christmas tree where people are living. But then you can see like the dark patches around here, for instance, because there's no lighting. But anyway, I'm going to get on building all of this lot. Once we're ready, I'll bring you back. Well, this area is pretty much done now. The tailors have been quite busy. I mean, we're into the early summer. We've got 46 warm clothes made here. They've got a reasonable amount of hide, flax and wool to keep them occupied for now. So we've used up all of the flax that was in this barn down here. So the rest of it must be out there somewhere. I'll need to go and find it. The wool, yeah, that all needs pulling across, so we just need to wait for the caravanners to bring that over. The hide, same with that, but there's obviously more hide out there somewhere, so I'm going to have to find that as well. Get that all transported up here. So, I mean, there's no great rush to get that pasture built until we get to a certain point of, you know, of how much wool we've got left in stock, and then I'll bring that on stream. I'm just keeping an eye on like how many spare people we've got though, because obviously I need a spare number of people as labourers, builders, so I can't just like pile everybody straight into that work. But there's roughly about 51 people in the system still to come through, so yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's still capacity for another 17 on top of that. So yeah, we'll just wait for this to well, wait for the wool to start running out, then we'll bring that on stream. Past the actual fields that we've got making the flax, that looks like that's yet to be harvested. So we'll wait for that to get done. So far so good. We seem to be, yeah, there's not a great deal of eggs spare. I'll still keep an eye on it. I mean, at some point I might have to build a new coop. Move all the chickens across, just deconstruct this one and rebuild a size 4 coop to cope with the capacity. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, we've got 8 spare vegetable pies. I'm not at the point where I'm like bringing anything down to here yet. Actually, what I can do is, yeah, these 3 buildings are now set for deconstruction. So I'll just keep an eye on them. I can't touch the barn yet though. Until they clear it out now, I work out where all of the different routes are. I can't touch that barn because the minute that that barn's deconstructed, if I've missed a route out, the game will crash. So everything seems to be going pretty good in Village 2 so far. Now down here, where we make the where we're planning to make the steel tools, is it? Yeah, the steel tools. We've got our kilners now built. We've got the sawmill number 2 back up online. The fishing lodges are ready to go. So it's really about getting accommodation. So I've got them working on this house over here at the moment. They're bringing resources down. I've had to buy some more stone because we were clearly running out. I mean, that quarry's almost empty anyway. Doesn't cost that much. I mean, we've got that much milk. At least we had that much milk, I should say. I can still afford to sell stuff off. Well, I can afford to sell the milk off for stone because it's just over double what we get back in return. That house there, I'll wait until I've got that one built, then we'll get that one up and running. And then I'll start bringing people down to here. We don't actually have any spare, well, we've got a few spare ingots, I must admit, but at some point we'll need to get the blast furnace up and running. Now, I'm not too concerned if we get that same problem where I can't build here, because to be honest I don't think there's anything I need there. There's a well there. Oh, that reminds me, yes, I do need another well. We'll get that well built there. I mean, there is one there, but I'd rather have more than not enough, because if the well runs out, we're kind of stuffed, basically. I know, that's interesting. Actually, I should really put a well next to these places as well, because they're so far away from the nearest building that would be a real problem. That I'd have a long way to go to put a fire out. Right, so that should keep them covered. We should have water. I've completely lost it there. So yeah, so there is water down near where the fishing lodges are. Ah, no, that's interesting. I didn't. Oh, yeah, there's one there. Yeah, there's a well there. If a fire spreads, though, that could be nasty. So I'll build another well there. Again, I mean, you don't actually need them. It's just I've got the disasters turned on. The last thing I need is buildings getting burned down again. So there's all of this building work to be done, deconstruction work, and so on. So I'm just going to let the game run on. And I'll bring you back once we're done. Well, we're into the spring now. The tailors are doing pretty well, I'd say. We haven't actually run out of hide, flax or wool yet. I'm a bit concerned about the flax though. There doesn't seem to be that much compared to the other two items. I'm just wondering what the ratios are. I mean, they go through like 10. Yeah, you need twice as much flax to hide. So that's got me a bit bothered. I'll have to see if how that field does, and if needs be, we'll tear it down and build a new one. I mean, there's no harm in building another one up there, I suppose, but yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. Not really bothered about the wool. I mean, there's still quite a bit of it in that barn there, so we'll just have to wait for them to transport that lot out. I don't know how that flax has ended up in that barn, because I had an actual order in to clear all of the flax out, and I'm sure they cleared it. So I don't know how we've ended up with flax back in there again, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a hold of somebody, and then we'll just drag it across by hand, because there's no more orders in place to transfer that, just the hide and the wool at the minute. Now, I've put in the foundations on this side for the barns, although to be honest I'll only be doing the left and the right ones. So I'm going to get them to start working on those barns there. I think that'll be the better bet. And then I can start transporting, produce in and out of these areas better. Because at the moment I've got somebody drag stuff all the way down here, all the way up to here. It's not the way I had in mind. The idea was to swap stuff between the two barns on either side of the wall. And then the actual caravans inside of the actual area, they'll take it from these local barns, so it'll be less distance for everybody to travel. But what are you missing? Eggs. Yeah, I was bothered about that. They're not keeping up with the supply of eggs for some reason. So it looks like we're going to have to tear that coop down and build a bigger one. But until we get all that produce moving and transported into this area, I can't really get these bakeries. It's like there'll be the meat ones, the fish ones and the fruit ones. They still need to be done. So yeah, we need to get that infrastructure in place first. Now, down here, we've got our actual houses built. I've got a blast furnace built. I've realised when I've done like the calculations, because I've been expanding out to areas like here as well, we don't have enough people. Or at least we don't have enough accommodation, so I've got them working on this house here. Now, I also need a bigger population. There's like 50 plus in the pipeline, but I think I'm gonna put in the number of people here. I'm not going to start capping the population in somewhere else. I'm going to work out how many people we need for now, and then just open up these houses. So we need about 6 people to work in the actual fishing lodges there. So I'll just pause that off. So I'll put 6 people. So that's where the fishermen can live. We'll need 4 people working in the kiln over there. Just grab that house there, that one there. So that's those kilns accounted for. I need another 2 for the blast furnace. So we'll unpause that one. I need another 2 for the castle smithy. So I'll increase. I think that's that one. So I'll increase that, so that gives me enough for the castle smithy. I need another 3 people working in a sawmill. So that's those covered, so all of those. So we can leave one smithy out for now, because I mean, we ended up with like tons and tons of charcoal, way more than we needed, to be honest. We've got like thousands of firewood down here as well. And then I need 4 more people for the actual, for the mines as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to push that up by another 3. So I may as well just push these up to right up to the full 12. Once that house comes online, then we should be fine. That needs to be unpaused. That needs to be unpaused. And then it's just a case of getting all the places filled. So the priority really is the actual gatherer. We definitely want that job filled. We definitely want those jobs filled as well. The rest I'm not too concerned with at the moment. We'll fill those as we go along, because I just don't have that many people available at the moment. I still need to retain enough people to be able to get the building work done up here, for instance. So the plan is I'll get these barns built. I'll get the left side and the right side done, and then in the next episode, what we'll pick up on, assuming the population's high enough, is then getting people working down here. So that's it for this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed watching it. If so, then do please leave a like, because that'll help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content like this, then yes, do please subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon though, because then you get notifications when I send new content out. And if you've got any comments, any suggestions, if you want to leave any feedback at all, please post that in the comments section below. Till next episode, thanks very much for watching. Bye!